We are back to do the Capricorn energy for July. Those of you who are new, a warm welcome. Those of you who are wanting a booking, link below. Now, I've been doing a little bit of research connected to the astrology this morning between the Cancer eclipse, the eclipse happening in Capricorn. You know, and already for me, I'm at the second day after the fact of the eclipse, and we've got that frequency coming through. So it's the way the videos have been uploaded at the moment because I've been quite strapped for time. But I have pulled the cards ahead of time to tune into the energy of what Capricorn may be experiencing. Now, obviously, collectively, the general part of the read will resonate with everyone. Hi, Shelley. So, you know, it's healthy to look at the Cancer and the Capricorn energy. Also, as Shelley and I were mentioning, July, Chiron is going to be going retrograde, and it's in Aries. So your shadow sign of Libra or Aries should be actually looked at, and the way you're going to be dealing with your wounds is going to be a lot different. Yeah, so we're going to have a look at this read, and it's making sense, but we're going to have a look at what's coming through. It is a pretty hectic time, and it's the way I can explain it. And I've been looking at different videos, Ascension, because I've been getting downloads. You know, I've been this morning when Giggle and I were talking, it was a lot of clowns and, you know, really feeling like you were part of a circus. You're part of an energy of what doesn't feel completely real. And it's not necessarily that it's triggering you. It's just depending upon where your ascension's at. You know, there are various groups. There are people that are very dense in the 3D, and there are other people that are very dense in the frequency of, there you go, Shelley, thanks, of the energy of the 5D, where you're seeing things quite obviously. So the energy of the factor that you're seeing something doesn't necessarily mean that the other person or people, places, and things get that factor. And that's really been something that's been coming through for 3 weeks. And it was a realization in an epiphany point that some people need to experience the dynamic over being told what you can perceive the dynamic's going to be. And I did mention to Shelley that Venus is really going to be amping up a notch. Now, it's shifted on the 3rd, and it's moving up degrees very quickly. It's got this gradual state where Venus, after moving into Cancer, is going from the early degrees, which is a fresh beginning, a new start, but really transferring over. And it's in the zodiac sign of Cancer. We've got the nodes in Cancer and Capricorn. We've got Venus moving into Cancer, and it's moving closer and amping up a notch as it's reaching the Capricorn eclipse. Yeah, so a lot of what we're seeing is we can't go back to a way of being. We may, in some shape or form in the 3D, be, I wouldn't say revisiting it, but knowing that we can't go back to that. So, like Shelley said, it's a bit like trying to fit yourself into a box, but you're a peg and it's not quite fitting, you know. And forgive me if I've kind of interpreted that analogy incorrectly, but it's like Cinderella and the 3 ugly stepsisters, you know, and you know that's your shoe, right? And people are putting the bloody shoe on other people, and you go, I can see this, man, it's not going to fit. It's not fitting. It's like trying to go back to an old way of being, and it just doesn't fit. And you're trying to work in with it, but you know there is inevitable transformation of that factor. Now, it doesn't mean old things aren't transferring and changing. It means the old way of being, that's it. The old way of being, it didn't work before, so it's not going to work again. Things are going to need to be shifted. Your pain body experience, especially with Chiron and Aries going retrograde, potentially, if you haven't dealt with your wounds and you can't leave the past behind, it's retrograde for 5 months. And Aries being the first house is all about self, which means the wounds come back to you, the work that you do on yourself. So for everyone collectively, as well as Capricorn, Capricorn's quite, you know, the energy of what's been coming through has been a lot of work. A lot of movement to achieve certain things and complete things, and a new story. And really, Cancers and Capricorns are going through mass, all the way from potentially 2009, but really amping up all the way through to 2020. This eclipse is going to transfer Capricorns and Cancers, you know, all the way through to 2020, and it's going to be a 1-year cycle of that transformation factor. We can't go back. So those that are lagging may have that rude awakening and that shift. It is leaving the past behind, whatever that be in some shape or form. It can be a pain body experience. It can be getting to a point where you're realizing you don't fit into a puzzle correctly, or the puzzle in general doesn't fit, and you're wondering how you can get it back to a safer, healthier, calmer way of being. But we are unable to go backwards, so to speak. The first card you've got, and to me, you know, psychically, when I interpret cards, it's very different to the way the cards are actually read. The first thing that's coming through, this card is very much about prosperity. It's also about the fact that you're dealing with too many things, number one. You're focused very much on one domain. Now, this can be past tense frequency. So where you were focused too heavily on it, and look at the way the man is holding the coins, it's almost like, if I just hold on to this, it's going to be okay. The old way of doing things won't work because it's just not finances. There's other things in life apart from finances. Now, if this is your shadow sign, there can be things coming up where you're looking at old behaviors, or you've been guided to do something in a different way. You might be looking back and thinking something's going to go in a certain way. This can be at a financial level. You may actually be looking at the stability of the situation. You could be having regret about the things you directly invested in. And you're assessing and psychoanalyzing every aspect of that piece and that puzzle to understand and comprehend what's going on. At the heart of the matter of where you currently stand, though, you're frustrated with the same story. So the things, especially with the full moon, what you find is, and it was beautiful the way a person interpreted the moon energy. You know, we do look at a full moon, a new moon as the manifestation, and a full moon of a release. But the funny thing is, what you do tend to find of a full moon is there's more clarity. Your heightened consciousness is there. So the way you look at things is going to be really clear as day. And again, it can be similar to Venus retrograde, where you're going, wow, I'm seeing a whole different side of this story right now. You can be really bored with the way things are standing, and you're tired of the stagnation. You feel stuck, but you can't live. It's like piggy in the middle for some of you, feeling as though you need to proceed forward, and you're looking back. Look at the way he's looking back. You're looking back, but you're going, that does not appeal to me anymore. So even looking back at the way you used to be, even if you attempted to go back to the way you used to be, you know that it wouldn't fit who you are anymore. So it's almost like the spiritual walk-in. You've got to a point where you've changed and you're going, good grief, this isn't who I am. Please don't take me back to that energy. I actually, after looking at more of the astrology, I'm like, it would be safer with my throat chakra to chuck me under a rock or put me in prison right now, because I can't go back to a way of being. And Cancer is my rising sign. Therefore, to a degree, the shadow aspect of it will be Capricorn. And I think all of us collectively are feeling the vibration of Capricorn right now and Cancer. And you'll always find you'll feel, but all of you guys are going to be feeling the Cancer-Capricorn dynamic very heavily this month. It can be anything to the degree of your family-related domains, the way you're operating, the way you feel about life, depending upon where you are in the spiritual matrix, how you've ascended. I've looked at everything into the age of Aquarius because I know the vibration has been really icky for the last 3 weeks. Definitely on the throat chakra level, I've noticed that old things that have been coming up, the frustration factor's being there, but it's more been because I know I can't go back to a way I used to be. I'm not that person anymore. We all change. But you can have the direct compassion and understanding, and you know things are a process, but it's been common themes coming up that you realize that some things don't work a certain way because you've attempted it at various angles. Sounds like a twin flame journey. Again, it's interesting that this card is a number 4. Now, I have been honing in on the numbers coming through the cards because especially connected to Ascension, twin flame numbers, astrology, numerology. Number 4, in a sense, next year is a number 4 vibrational year. which is about duality, but working together as a team. And, you know, especially from a psychic point of view, repeating terms come to mind, and they have been for a long time now. Certain themes are coming through quite heavily. There's no I in team, and that's really what 2020 is going to be. If people directly are working with you and something is workable, you will work together. If it's not, it won't balance, it will fall down. This energy of looking back, we can't go back because we're moving forward into next year. A lot of what is going on is to do with various things. It's the common things of karmic ties, and we've been talking about this for 2 years. It's very relevant in the here and now. Last year, there was a lot of purging. This year, it feels very, very 3D. Very 5D because you see the bigger picture. 3D because you're looking at it and you see the bigger path. And you're trying to work in with that to prepare, to create that foundation, that the home, the stability, the moving towards things, taking direct accountability, Chiron being in Aries, dealing with your wounds, really questioning when things are coming up. Okay, is this a me problem or is this a you problem? Having the compassion and really assessing where you're at. And I hate bloody being that. I can honestly tell you. You know, we do say when we reach a stage in our journey spiritually, that we are in awareness of why we are doing certain things, because we have done the meditation, we've done the work, and each person will go through this. It's our ego that tells us that people can't change. We cannot take accountability for that, but we can take accountability for our ascension and the energy that we transmute to others and the people we surround ourselves with, and making our future the best it physically can be. If people wish to join us in that path, with love and light we shine, you know, we can't do much about it. There can be some conflict that you guys are trying to get out of, and you're like, this isn't my war. I mean, the downloads I've had have been, there's no iron team. We didn't start the fire. This used to be a fun house. Now it's full of evil clowns. I think that was one of the songs this morning, Shelley, wasn't it? It's like some of it feels like we're not here, like it's not real, like we're neither in the future nor the past. Similar to feeling in the eye of the storm, but it's not really a storm. It's an observation. It's a vibration. It's a feeling. And the further you get into your ascension, you pick up on the collective very freely. So part of it is the age of Aquarius. And I was researching into when astrologically, theoretically, that's supposed to happen. And most of us thought it was next year. A lot of it has already started of March. There's no, you know, 100% down point time when it physically starts. But a lot of these transfers are connected to 2020 and the age of Aquarius. So we're going from one demeanor, one frequency to another, and it can feel quite bipolar because we're shifting into a mindset of a collective energy at a very different level. So it does literally feel, and when I talk of 5D, yes, you can be further up, but it's on the higher planes of existence, seeing things in different ways, feeling vibrations. Yeah, stuck in the middle. That's another one we had. Because, and I did mention that in 2018 at the end, that we would be observing grand awakenings. And through those awakenings of epiphany moments, ascension symptoms, depression, that really was relevant for many of us last year. The ones that have been doing the work have moved away from that, but we're observing it now. And some of it is triggering us because we're like, we're not going back to that. We've been there, done that. We ain't going back there. Now, with the Cancer moon, although that has transpired for me already, the frequency is still relevant. Okay, so I'm going to tune into that energy for you guys. And I do feel it's making an interesting dance between the nodes of Cancer and Capricorn. They're reflecting back at each other. So they're sort of having this interesting conversation. With the new moon in Cancer, with the eclipse, it's asking you, where is their teamwork? Can this work? Bob the Builder, can we fix it? You know, what can work? But it has to be team. It's asking each person and seeing who is putting the energy into situations. Again, I'm hearing teamwork. So there's no, and I mentioned this before I looked at the cards, there's no iron team. One person can't lift the ship. It does need to be a team effort. There could be an out of balance situation that is going on from here till the middle of the month, moving into the Capricorn eclipse. There will be no room for no team, okay? If there's no teamwork, there's no room for it. It won't work. It will fall down. Something on that situation may be on hold. And again, it's interesting that this is a 6, because they say 666, the number of the beast. But again, the man is deemed as beast, so humanity, so to speak. Are we working together? This can be collectively, Capricorn, or this can be in your team environments. This can be with your family-related dynamics. Things that you're investing your time into, things that are out of balance are going to show their face. If you're wishing to make it work, it can be effective communication. But unfortunately, as a lot of the astrology has described, if you're in the 5D, the way you're seeing it won't be the same as how they're seeing it. So that communication is going to be super difficult. The karmic energy connected to that is going to be the tools and the power and the action. So potentially your throat chakra, and with bloody Mercury retrograde. You can't make this up. I'm finding this. We do have to use humor. I agree with you, Shelley, in order to see the comical side of this. So something's not working. You're on the 5D. They're on the 3D. They're like, what are you talking about? And you're going, this isn't working. Shit's falling down. And then the clarification for it is they have the tools. Now, this can actually mean detachment. And again, 6 is masculine as well. Number of the beast, man. So 6 coming down to, it could be a male energy that is wanting a team-related vibration and trying to see whether that can be balanced. And again, the triangles are upright, which again is reiterating masculine frequency. The same energy I've got coming through, this is a masculine card as well. Can't you tell? With this, and I'm trying to use comedy to cope with this because it's interesting astrology. It's pretty damn horrendous. I mean, I feel for all of you guys. It's not fun. Trying to talk to somebody when you're in the 5D and they're in the bloody 3D is like talking to a wall because they don't get it. So you're going to have to use a different technique to communicate this, or you may need to let this just happen. Can anyone relate? Because something isn't coming together. This was in reverse. Bringing it together. Something's not working. Oh, Shelley. We've been talking about this all morning. I'm like, am I on Mars? I mean, they say men are from Mars, women are from Venus. I'm thinking I'm on Mars, okay, because this is comical. Now, the Capricorn moon. Interesting, because this is Sagittarius and it's screaming Saturn, okay? You've got the 8 of Wands. Something's been going on forever by Capricorn moon. Eat, pray, repeat. After the fact, we do say that near the Capricorn moon, there is a burn-off effect, which they call it the Kaziki, I think. We'll just call it that. It's a burn-off effect of the energy with the Leo frequency coming through, where we're going to see things clearly. With that, moving near the Capricorn eclipse, what's not working, you're going to have to move through that adversity, but it's going to be a reshuffle effect. You end up getting a reunion or something as per se coming back around together. So there is a merging with the understandings, which it does actually mention in astrology. You can't make this shit up. It was literally saying there can be breakups at the beginning of the Cancer moon because your communication's all going to be up shit creek. And then by the time the Capricorn energy comes through, there can be reconciliation. So it's like very interesting dynamics. So there's conflict in communication. There's conflict in the mindsets. Differing views coming through, tribe mentality, what isn't working, the past and the present moving into the future, neither here nor there, nothing set in stone. The karmic energy around that is past tense crap, having lagged it, having to really address those areas, not being able to shy away from it and addressing it. So there could be karmic energies really interfering. There can also be third-party energies or betrayals of the past or issues coming up to be dealt with. when it comes to standing in your way of love. What do you love? What don't you? You know, what is the best vibration you want to live in? Okay. You want to live in, and look, it doesn't even have to be. It could even be spiritually. You just feel you're cheating yourself if you're not in your truth, which I feel that's more the relevant energy coming through for me. Especially with the Saturn energy. You know, Saturn is really, do you want to really have a look at this? Do you want to look at the energy of what is going to take you to your highest point, the accountability, the reality, the higher consciousness of it? Definitely with Saturn, Pluto, retrograde, you know, it's what needs to end in order for that new beginning. That new beginning, it will relate to January. And to really push that to that next level, because it hasn't shifted in 6 months completely. Yes, we've had the crumbs of movement. It's pushing it completely to a point. It's saying you have the tools. You've got the action. You need to proceed forward. There's no ifs and buts about it. Move. Do what you've got to do. What is it? You know, in your higher consciousness of what you want. No conversation right now. I'll talk to you soon. Don't laugh at me, Shelley. That's my Capricorn energy coming through on my shadow side. Reunions, bringing things together. Not cheating yourself out of a situation, because if you are, you know, no, we can't make decisions for other people, but you can be in your truth about what is correct for you, because you know what you love. You know what you're moving towards. At the heart of love in general, whoever you're tuning into, oh, shit. Don't laugh at me, okay? Look, I woke up like this, and I'm here because I love you guys. Injustices, legal conflicts, that's at the heart of your romance at the moment. There can be legalities and battles and balancing coming up. Some injustices, some disputes, and this doesn't have to be. This is what directly is affecting the connection at the moment. And it's interesting because Venus has moved into Cancer, throat chakra, as of the 3rd. And again, it's the scales, it's the balance, it's the movement of that situation. This is a very karmic time. Because it's like, look, we've been looking at the karma for 6 months, potentially 3 years. I had muesli. And then getting to a point where you're going, we've been working on this. We've been juggling like clowns, okay? Trying to get this balance happening. Waiting to tie these loose ends up, court cases, legalities. Are we going this way? Are we going that way? Is it going to look like this? No, it's not. Yeah, it's fun, eh? Not fun. I'm in the same boat. And it's like, listen, Linda, on your side of the fence, Capricorn, you're like, look, I want to heal this situation. I'm willing to work with you, but we need to give this 50-50, right? I want the celebration. This could be near a celebration, near a birthday, a date of something that's going to transpire, which again it makes sense to me. I'm hoping it makes sense to you. Some interesting things can transpire around this time, and I'm feeling it's within the 1 to 2 weeks max. On their side of the fence, they could be dealing with family-related dynamics, okay? This could be your counterpart's energy. It could be your twin. It could be you if you're cross-watching. Dealing with some sense of conflict, and the energies can bounce, okay? Because some of your energy can come through in your partner's reading. What the fuck? One of the court dates is 2 days before her birthday. There you go. And I know because my twin's birthday is this weekend, and I know this shit completely relates to me. So I'm like, and I didn't make this up. This reading is just here. This is my shadow sign. So, you know, they're dealing with legality. The thing, I'm looking at this black and white. What the hell is that? We don't even get flies in bloody winter here. We're going to work with it. Like I said, comedy for the astrology right now. So it's like, they're like, I don't understand what the problem is. Like, this is what it is. This is coming, you know. I'm going to leave that card because I'm not sure whether it's up or down. Some of you, it might be going either way. Some of you, there was healing. Some of you, there wasn't. But something to do with this person is dealing with a suspect right now. Yeah, 8th for my twin. Let's just proceed, eh? I'll get a chakra card. I can't talk, I'm working. I have a job, you know. I'm a divine feminine, right? Shelley loves my comedy. Ooh. On your side of the fence, you want to manifest this through, okay? You love this person. You love this person, but you only want to do what makes you happy. You're like, I have passion. I have drive. I have dreams. I've got other shit I want to deal with. I even feel chemically related to you right now. Like, let's alchemize this. Let's get this on the road. I want to be open with you. I want to share with you. I want to work with you. I'm hoping that everything's going to be beautiful. I'm being kind and I'm being understanding, but don't take advantage of that. On their side of the fence, maybe we should be looking at Capricorn, Shelley, because this is quite amusing. Oh, 3 cards, okay. A home-related dynamic of what they think it's going to be by the end of the year. There may be a delay. And again, I'm hearing Christmas in July. So again, you know, there may be a party or a celebration. They're looking pretty tired. So shelter, safety, warmth, and nurturing. A family-related dynamic is coming up. They want the home to feel like a safe environment. They, you know, again, this can be the Cancer frequency, you know, of the energy coming through in your shadow sign, Capricorn, that you can be taking on an aspect of Cancer energy and reflecting back. But you're not being honest with yourself about a situation. And I do feel, you know, your eyes may be close to a family-related dynamic. It might be you're not seeing something quite clearly, or some things are hidden from you. But there's not, and it could be that communication's not coming into you, or you're not directly communicating your truth regardless. Something in relation to communication, not seeing eye to eye. I'd say you're seeing eye to eye, but you're communicating in a different way. You need to, and this could even be you getting to a point where you're meditating, because as the person's eyes are closed, well, it's not a person, it's a ferret, isn't it? As they're closed, that's the meditation. It's the recuperation. It's where you go to feel safe. Can this boat correctly in a safe environment? Then you are getting to the point where you do have the key, but in your opinion, you may feel some of it is out of your control. True. You may stop talking to somebody on this side of the fence. I'm not feeling it's connected to your partner energy or your love interest. I feel it's in relation to a past tense situation. And you may be not even directly worried about your possessions or what you had in the past. So I'm going to pull an extra card because there's weird things coming through here. I'm just going to work with it and flow. Bear with me. I mean, I've only got 6 videos to do. I'm sure I'll get through. Needing to turn over a new leaf, not being able to do things the old way, which is really what the Capricorn frequency is saying in the Zodiac sign and the astrology. But, you know, Shelley and I are on the 5D and other people are on the 3. Listen, Linda. Some things may end up being taken, and that can be the fair. Or they may be scared that someone's going to take you, but they know it's false. Okay, so it's like they're having a bit of internal struggle. So they're worried that someone's going to take you or take something that they want, but it doesn't feel as though they're directly connected to... I don't feel they're connected. It's like, it's really weird. It's like it had started before they really thought it through. Does that make sense? Yeah, it's like it feels as though the proceedings or the situation was started well and truly before you come on board somehow, or that, and you're looking at it going, they're looking at it going, okay, and I do feel for a lot of us, we're looking at things, and some of the things that we were manifesting at the beginning of the year, we're not quite sure if they now fit that new puzzle. Okay. Yeah, feel free to ask questions. Okay. At the heart of it, though, the clarification with this injustice, you're not going to be sad about it. So whatever comes about, it's going to sort out. So both parties are going to be happy in the end, regardless. You're not going to be sad about it. It's going to be what it's going to be. Something's going to change, though. Let's find out what's going to change. What is changing in this situation? You're coming together, okay? There is a change happening within your connection. You guys are bonding. You guys are still connected. It's not the end of it. It's like, it's not going to kill you. Just watch and learn and see. I'm going to try and take that advice with the amusement I've been having this week. Okay, now let's get into the energy of finances. Now, this isn't just finances. This is with your money. This is with what you're investing in, the roles that you're playing in situations. You're waiting for that change. You're waiting for your ships to come in. You're waiting for the finances to balance out. You're waiting to decide what you're going to invest in, only if there's consistency. You're like, look, I'm testing you now. Now, you said X, Y, and Z. Now, be it X, Y, and Z. Okay, the ship moved a bit. That's fine. We'll get the rope and we'll tighten it up a bit. You're waiting for some balance to come back in. You're waiting for that, you know, the dust to settle after the storm. And again, it does say with the Cancer Capricorn energies for the 2 eclipses, it's changing through the months. I can say be patient, but honestly, I haven't been that patient. I've been a bit throat chakra-y. That's because I've changed. With the things you're working on, you're trying, but it can be that you've got a lot on your plate. You've got too much going on. There's too many captains. No, there's, too many captains and no workers. Or there's too many queen bees and you get my drift. Something is coming on your shoulders somehow, Capricorn, where it's being left to you in some shape or form, or whoever is directly involved. But there's an imbalance, so to speak, but there can be intensity, there can be conflict and quarrels and gossip and agitation and sadness of how both parties or how you're looking at your future proceeding forward. Again, it can be conflict around wanting a new start or wanting, to go back to the heydays. It can also be connections to younger children. And again, I'll pull another clarifier, but I'm going to use the other deck. Too many. Yeah, you've been working on things, okay? you feel you've invested. You feel as though you put a lot of work into this situation, and you actually on this occasion do have an expectation. It's like, I do not invest unless there is it's not, how do I put it? Not necessarily an expectation. If you put the ice cream in the freezer, providing the freezer's on, you're going to get bloody ice cream, right? It's going to be frozen. So it's not we have an expectation. It's black and white. It's going to get frozen. So when that then doesn't happen, you're like, but we put the bloody ice cream in the freezer. Why isn't it frozen? The freezer's on. So this is what you're testing. You're like, look, I'll put the work in if you're putting the work in, or you'll invest in this situation if it's working, coming together, but knowing you've got the tools, knowing you've got what you're made of, and knowing your self-worth. So a lot of self-worth coming through. And you're different. It's like you've evolved. You got the Botox out. You know, it all come back. It's all coming back to me. And you got to a point where you're going, look, I've been all tense. Some of you may also want to shake things up a bit and just get to a point where you have a little bit of fun, do something a bit more. But there seems to be things pulling at you left, right, and centre. Some of you are fighting for that, where you're actually wanting to have some time, where you're going, I want to get my hair done, or I want to go and play golf with the guys, or it just feels it's a very intense energy, and there's not much time for not thinking about these scenarios. Too many changes happening. It's like a bad load of washing, and you're like, I'm doing a load of washing. Has everyone put their washing in the washing machine? Yeah, and then somebody comes home from football, and right at the end, 15 minutes of the cycle, puts a dirty pair of shorts in there. I'm just saying, and you're going, I did ask. You've been home for an hour. Family. Okay. A time for rebuild and balance. The clarification is, this is what you think you're doing. Oh, shit. I'm going on holiday, okay? I am peace out. I don't like this reading. I find it amusing, though. Okay, so You're walking, you're going, okay, I'm coming to the table and let's get this shit sorted. Let's get this balanced. Okay, let's get it balanced. You want to see the clarification? Enemy. This could be that you're being your own worst enemy because you already see something in the 5D and like nobody else is seeing it. Or this can be that people don't want to work with you. People in the family don't, or it can't. I'm going to pull another clarifier because I pulled these cards like before and I've been having coffees and smokes and talking to Shelley and getting grounded. And I just think it's amusing that this is her because I just pulled them and didn't look. I tuned into the energy. I knew crap was going down. And that'd be right. I'm going to close these other windows down because they are interfering with the stream. So if it gets a bit funny, give me a heads up because we don't have time for that. Okay. Now, what's coming up is you could be, due to this, there could be some people that are stirring up crap. It could just be as simple as that. But you've got the star card in reverse. So something's not boding too well. There could be loss. There could be dealt. It could be that in general, you're like, what do we do from here? How do we balance this out? You may be feeling stuck, but in reality, this could be you or other people or people directly in the family. Nobody's stuck, okay? You could be really feeling like the odd one out, or this can be just people in general within the family. I feel as though there is a lot of imbalance in this situation, and the astrology is not helping it. Sevens have been coming up a lot for July, and 7 is very much about keep your thoughts and your actions positive. It is a spiritual card, but it's also, well, it's a spiritual number, especially when you're seeing 777. But it's also, it can be connected to finances. And again, we deem finances as spiritual or physical, okay? And it's interesting because you do have the Ace of Coins. You've also got the Knight of Coins. So you're doing too much, number one. You're dealing with too much, but you got the 7 of Cups. So there may be too many ways this can go. There can be some delusions about this and some confusion. And you'll have to tell me after this transit, come back and actually tell me how this all went for you guys. If this is actually happening for you, come back and give us the story and tell me how you went and what techniques you used. I'd love to hear. Now, you've got the tools, yes. You're working on something. You're trying to build something. You can be super busy at the moment. But again, you do have this, there's a lot of responsibilities on the table when you already have quite a bit going on as well. So it's making you a little bit nervous. Anyone relating? Anyone relating in the family domain? Where it's not all just, I mean, obviously, okay, we cook dinner, we wash dishes, and that can be for anyone, right? So you got the responsibilities. But it's, you're hoping romance can get back. You're hoping to hear something. You're hoping for this balance to come in. You're hoping for news, the law to be balanced. Hoping, right? You're holding on for grim death. You're like, I'm bloody tired. I've been waiting a long time. I need this resolved. You're up in your thoughts. What is the outcome of this situation for Capricorn? For the family members. I think there's going to be a lot of going and coming. Okay, something doesn't feel home, something doesn't feel balanced. Okay, so you've got home in reverse. So it might be you're physically not feeling at home, or they're not feeling physically at home. So there's an indecision about whether it is or isn't, but something isn't feeling home. There could be a physical move. So it could be that somebody's moving in and they don't feel home right away, which is perfectly normal. There's a transitional state. You've then got faithfulness in reverse. You're like, well, if it's bouncing, I mean, I went through this with my mum and dad. Separation, siblings wanted to be with mum, then they wanted to be with dad, and it was back and forward. It's quite normal for children if they're adjusting. So if this is relating to you and you're dealing with a child dynamic, you totally get it, right? So it can be where they're going, oh, I don't quite know what I want to do. My twins are really pissing me off today. I'm working, babe, I can't. Yeah, this could even be within the energy of the home where you can't wait. You've got to keep going forward. It can be loss of finances or just not feeling connected to it because something's not balanced. But the good thing is these things are going to come up to be looked at. So you can then rewrite that story as it moves. It can be something to do with school or an education or something you're physically learning through this. But a journey is in reverse. So it's like part of that isn't moving because there are burdens. The burdens of what you're not seeing is there's burdens, okay? A lot of burdens. A lot of competitiveness, a lot of things that are being swept under the carpet, and exhaustion. So a lot of communication is going to come through for this area. So it can be that you're communicating about what is and what isn't working, but it is to get that situation balanced. I'm going to pull some clarifiers as to what is moving forward for you guys, because I do feel it's really a lot of like, this isn't working. Okay. Yeah. What do we need to know for Capricorn? It's going to come to an end. Okay, something's coming to an end. So this craziness, this clown house, it's coming to an end. Okay, whatever that be. The craziness is going to balance out. The cycle is to end a situation. Dealing with too many, trying to be in two places at once, it's not working. You know how this is going to go, okay, Capricorn? You're in your intuition. You know how it's going to go. You'll do your best, but you know something's going to go. You know how something's going to go. If you're Capricorn and you're watching, could even be the cross watcher. One of you on one side of the fence, in relation to this journey, knows how it's going to go. Connected to a family-related dynamic. You're trying to tell yourself, don't trust your instincts. You also are cautious about who not to trust. This could be external influences, but you also are moving towards commitment. So it's not about you. You know that saying when you break up with someone, it's not about you, it's about me. Well, it's true because you're choosing to leave. So a lot of these situations, if they are past tense situations, not connected to you, there's past related dynamics coming up. They're not liking it. You're in the eye of the storm. Okay, any questions while I'm here cleaning up this mess? If only we could do that with the retrograde cycle / eclipse season. I think we just sweep it on out and go, okay, next. Next reading. Next. Any questions? If this bloody stream doesn't die on me. No questions, nothing. How did it relate? Any heads up? Hit me with your poison. I don't want to do this anymore. Yeah, look, a lot will. As I've said to many people, there's a point in time you realise you can't get rid of your twin. You can't, okay? You can't. You don't lose your twin. They wish they could lose you sometimes. You wish you could lose them, but you can't lose your bloody twin. The stress is the karmic path of before. And Shelley mentioned it before to me. I look at my past and I attempt to sweep my mess up as I go and apologise, or that this is not in alignment with me. Peace out. I need to move this way. Other people in life, maybe due to fear-based frequencies, pain body experiences, deal with their conflict in different ways because we all can't be the same. But this is a karmic cycle, okay? So whether you move, you evolve. We all move and evolve. We have no choice. It's our ego that tells us people can't change. People have no bloody choice but to change. I didn't want to change. I had to. I'm not feeling Mercury to be the bad guy here. I feel Mercury to be the advice. I mean, I'm trying not to use my throat chakra. No, I'm not really. Everything happens for a reason. Mercury can be reflecting back on past conversations. You know, don't necessarily look at the retrogrades as, oh my God, doomsday. It's let's look back at what was and what wasn't working. Always look at the planets as that. It's highlighting what you've been working on, what you're gonna, and when it goes direct, that didn't work. It's almost like going and doing your auditing, your bookkeeping, and you're trying to grow that business, and you're going, where's that $20 going? I wonder what that is. What is that? And then you do the, you know, you do the tables and the tallies, and you're looking at it going, I could have been a millionaire by now. You know, it's small things. It's the retrograde is the time of reflection. It's the time of assessment. So is this working? Isn't it working? Saturn, where can I take accountability? And no, I've been meaning to do these things. I haven't done it. Mercury, before proceeding forward, delay. Look at it. Look at the fine print. Have you been missing things? Have you been wasting money potentially where it's been hindering that movement? Because it's about transport. It's about technology. It's not just your communication. Uranus with the spiritual sense, you know, with that coming up, are you afraid of growing? Are you afraid? And that's working with Jupiter as well, with the planet of growth and expansion. You know, when you've got blockages in those areas, or there's something quite missing, when it's going retrograde, it's the best possible time to gain that information. It's a gift. So don't get scared of that. If something's not working and you're like, oh, when's this going to bloody change? Wait for retrograde. It'll change. I'm having trouble getting my getting out of my karmic relationship. I've wanted to. What can happen? One day you will be lying next to your karmic and you'll go, please don't sleep with me. One day you will be lying next to your karmic. Think of 10 years' time. Where are you going to be in 10 years' time? Are you going to be with them? This is an interesting transit. You need to, I had a friend do this to me. This is your life. It's a ruler. Okay, depending on how old you are, this is all you've got. And we never know, okay? This is your life. One conversation. If your life is here and that's all you've got left, that's what you're wasting. And every year we say we're going to do it, we're going to do it, we're going to do it. We don't. You're getting closer to the end. Are you going to waste your life with one conversation? I try to, in ending things, take on the time to look and go, okay, is it just because I don't want that conversation, or is it because I am scared I can't financially survive, which is the aspect to be dealt with? Or is it because I don't want to hurt this person, and what if my twin won't come towards me? What if I will always be single? Because there's many reasons we think silly things, okay? And this isn't about me. This is just in general. So what if suddenly I don't have someone, which is a total lie, because people love all shapes and sizes, all ages, all packages. You can have 20 kids. You're going to find someone who's going to love you. You can have no kids. You're going to find someone who loves you. You can be fat, skinny, short. Okay? Check in with the fair. What is the real reason the conversation has not happened? Is it due to finances? You need to start sorting that. Is it due to not hurting the person? You're hurting yourself, and you're hurting because you're not being truthful, and they could potentially be living in a truth. So you've got to check in with the reasons why. Do you get what I'm saying? Because after a while, it will happen. It's going to happen. Even if you're giving your power away because you don't want to be the bad guy, because I've been there too, they end up leaving you. And you're so bloody shocked because you're like, I've been tolerating this. And you did this to me and you did that. And then you left me. It should have been me leaving you. Well, hey, I didn't. So that was on me, right? I can't support myself financially. Okay, then He's not the issue. Your finances are the issue. Once you start focusing your energy onto a career, onto your finances, if you have a tower moment, everything always works out. It's a bit like falling pregnant. I said to my mum, oh, I don't think I can do it financially. She goes, you always do. It just sorts itself out. And it's true. So I've been booted out before, and I was like, crap, how's it going to happen? You end up at a friend's house, and then you start taking accountability, and the Capricorn energy is going to make you take accountability anyway. Because universe, you're blocking your own path. It's not about the conversation. It's about your fear of survival, and you have the tools to do that. So it's about actually facing the mirror of what the reality is. Because you may find if you start dealing with the investments and your finances, that maybe the relationship isn't bad. Maybe it was that the vibration you felt was lack was because and it can be that you're feeling less. You're not feeling that equal. Or it could physically be, I've got to stay here because I'm stuck. I've got kids. I've got money I've got to deal with. How am I going to balance this all out? Been there as well. But look at the real problem. It's not the conversation, because if it's going to be over, it's going to be over. You will know, and only you can make that decision. If it's about finances or your fear about something, that's the thing to deal with right away first. Then you have your meditation of it after the fact, and you go, okay, is it actually that I don't want to be here, or was it because of the finances? Now that I've achieved that, or now that I've achieved that, am I now willing to, or is it I'm scared of the unknown? And this is a very scary time at the moment, but this is life, okay? We're in the real 3D, operating from a higher consciousness. Saturn tells us, look, I've got a problem. I need to deal with it. What am I going to do? My life is here. This is where it may end, theoretically. That's all I've got left. Yeah. So why do you feel you can't survive then? We can't prevent people from being hurt, but you're hurting yourself by not doing it because you're not living a vibrational truth. And look, if you don't, and it's not bad, we get to a point in life where the memories hold us. And then we get to a point where you're living in the past, it's the memory of what it was. And then that makes you sad because you're taxing your spirituality because you are living in a place that was yesterday. But you're in the here and now, knowing what you actually want, and you're not taking it. So at some point, it will make you feel quite dirty, where you can't sleep next to that person, where initially you feel guilt, and then you'll move. And it's the 7 stages of healing. You're a human, right? And then you may feel dirty and resentful and sad and detached, and they notice. Yeah. So it's up to you, doll. It depends on how you want to look at it. But you're hurting too, and you're as important. And you may want to do it gradually and talk to him and just be honest and say, look, I've really been struggling. I don't know why. I just feel spiritual. When we acknowledge it in our mind, the way a psychic related to me was, at some points in life, spiritually, we have checked out. So we're actually not in it. We're there. We're not in it because we've changed. And it's not their fault, but it's not your fault either. We can't be everything for everyone. And while we're trying to fit that peg into the square, it's not fitting. Have that moment. Make that time where you can sit and you can talk quaintly with each other. Because you still do have love for him. It's just a different love. You love him enough that you don't want to hurt him. But it does hurt to not know, especially if it's not real anymore. I get it. I'm not good at starting those kind of conversations. Oh, trust me, either. I was like, when one of my breakups, it was like, how the fuck am I going to say this? Because the person wasn't a bad person. The person was great. How was I going to say it? And one day it just come to a head. It was like, I have to say this. And I think the integrity of giving that person the respect they deserve, which is letting them know, number one, allowing them to ask as many questions as they want, then giving them the support, meaning tell them, call your friends, call your family, do what you've got to do. I'm stepping back. We need to be detached at this point so we can absorb the energy. And then we can come back to the table, we can talk more. But we need to absorb what just happened. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, there's nothing you can do, but you're delaying the inevitable. And, you know, and that's the empath aspect of things. We hate hurting people. We do not like hurting people, but it's going to end at some point because you already have that spiritual understanding of what's going on inside you. So it's going to have to be addressed at some state. And you know what? There's never a right time. Yeah, there's never a right time. And look, you might find 5 years down the track or 24 hours down the track, you're going, what the fuck have I done? And that's okay too. You just got to be in the moment of where you are. You've got to be in your truth at all times about where you are. It's horrible, but it becomes freeing because the thing is, how can we love another person if we don't love ourselves enough to acknowledge what we're feeling? You know, it's not, you're more than yourself right now. Even if you have fallen out of love, you're actually loving them above you because you're not checking in with yourself and saying, Margaret, it's okay that you feel bad, that you have to speak your truth, but you don't have to feel bad to speak your truth. You have your feelings, you have your light, you have your life, and you're entitled to that. And it is going to be okay, Margaret. And hug yourself if you need to. I've hugged myself through my ascension symptoms. It's like, I have not been bloody good to myself. You know, people would say to me in a spiritual way, be good to yourself. Have a relationship with yourself. I mean, what's a relationship with yourself if you can't give yourself the right to speak your truth? If you have to accept crumbs or you have to put everyone above you all the time, and that's okay. That's it. No, it's not. You know, if you're having a crappy day and you want to have a temper tantrum and smash your bloody plate, that's okay. You know, I mean, don't hurt other people, obviously, but if you need to do that, that's okay. You're human. You're having a humanistic experience. And who's to say that you can't be friends with this person? Who's to say both of you don't feel exactly the same? You're not going to know till you have the conversation. I can't make you do anything. Don't be blaming me. I've been where you've been. It's horrible. Yeah. And the thing is, there's various stages of a breakup. Everyone's like, yeah, you're broken up. And I said to a friend one time, I said, no, it's taking, for some who's married, it's taking the ring off. It's the conversation. It's the moving out. It's then, you know, it can be paperwork. It can be being intimate with another person for the first time and wondering whether that's correct or incorrect. You're cutting the ties at gradual stages. It's not bang, you know, and that's why, especially with twin flames, you'll notice, or anyone who ends up being a rebound, you're not actually in a real relationship with that person. So when we talk about the inner healing, and this is the reason why, as a Libra, I'm explaining this, like Shelley said, Chiron going retrograde is we see the 5D because we've been on both sides. If you end up leaving a person and jumping into another connection, you're not actually really there. It's a delusion because you haven't even healed the past tense situation. So that's why they say, don't sweep things under the carpet. It's okay to be single and have that great relationship with yourself. Don't be scared no one's going to be there and you're going to be left on the shelf. No, actually give yourself a bloody holiday and be excited about it. Picture what that house will be like. Picture what your garden will be like. Tap into the things that you haven't been doing for years. You know, paint that new vibration of who you are and give that to yourself as a gift. And don't be scared of that. You're not going to get left on the shelf. And that should be the furthest thing from your mind, because even when we do think of that and we end up in a rebound relationship, we're then going, fuck, I've got a lot going on right now. I'm feeling happy one day, sad another day, which is completely normal. So look out for those rebound relationships, peeps, because if you haven't healed, you're doing yourself a disservice, because when you're in it, you can't give completely to that new person because you haven't had the time to heal and look at it and go, how did that make me feel? Does that make sense? As I'm looking super tired right now. Any questions before I nag away at everyone? I'll have a short break and I'll come back and do another video, providing penny little the world isn't falling down. But yeah, look, you love them, but it's just not you're in love with them. And it doesn't mean to say you can't fall back in love with them. It's just you've changed. You need to be you for a bit, and that's okay. Why do I have to have so many bloody relationships for? I'm Elizabeth Taylor. There's only really been one. But the main relationship, the one thing that I didn't know was, wow, you need to have a relationship. I didn't really know what that meant. Because I'd always put everyone before me. You'll be fine, Margaret. Have faith in yourself. I can see travel around you as well. There's a person near the ocean. I'm seeing you moving towards them in a social setting for a family gathering. It might be for a birthday, like a 50th or something like that. Okay, well, what's after Capricorn, really? Oh, God. The age of Aquarius. Well, we did mention that. Aquarius? Isn't it? Let me check. Where am I at? I've done Capricorn. What do we want to do? Well, I've done Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. I've done Aquarius already. So we've done Capricorn. So we have Taurus, Virgo, Aries, Leo, Sag. Which one? Well, I need to do the earth signs first. I want to do them in clumps. So it's going to be either, yeah, I've already done Aquarius, which they're changing a lot as well, Virgo and Taurus. Pick your poison. Virgo or Taurus. I've got to get them all done. You have no idea how many Aquarians I've got in my life. It is insane. I do not know why Aquarians hover around me. I'm like, Aquarians, Grand Central Station, Aquarius, Taurus. Okay, well, look at that, because that is connected to, and spiritually speaking, some of the aspects of it will resonate with us about our spiritual path. With Uranus, where we're going, what we're moving towards. So I will be back shortly. And we will check in with that energy. And trust me, there will be more updates coming for TF. So bear with me.